welcome back to DBS and DFL Studio, along with my special guest, Senator Berthia Parle. Berthia, I have to ask this question to start it off because I'm just so inquisitive as to how you're going to answer it. But do you believe in reincarnation?
No, I don't, Delia.
Any reason why?
I was raised a Roman Catholic, and I think, you know, as part of our teachings, I think it's one of the things that, I mean, we never really discussed. And I think it's a very controversial subject, and I don't think I'm in a position to really do justice to it. And I think maybe this is something at some point in time that there could be some sort of a discussion on. I know a lot of the Eastern religions do believe in reincarnation and are convinced that when you die, that your body, you know, you come back, you're reborn, and you may take the form of an animal or some other object or another human being or a different personality. But to be honest with you, I don't think I've given it a lot of thought, and I think it's very controversial, and I'd hate to give the wrong information out there to people.
Because it's not information, I'm just seeking your opinion.
Yeah, sure, and it's my honest opinion. It's what I believe in.
What about being a St Lucian? You hear about all these things like Laja Bless and all those things.
Oh, no, I say they don't believe. No, I don't. I don't believe in these things. I think they're figments of people's imagination, and some people believe they've seen them somewhere along the road at nights in, you know, different places. But I certainly don't believe in these things.
Okay, now tell us about Berthia Parle. Where did it all start? From the earliest that you can remember?
The earliest I can remember was a little girl actually going to the Miss Lucy's infant school. And Miss Lucy was, God bless her soul, I think she's passed now, but a woman that had an infant school, and for us it was a joy to go to school because she's so devoted. I mean, she really loved all the kids that she looked after, and she always gave a second. I think Miss Lucy's school was somewhere off the Miku Road, somewhere along that area. I think she was. Of course, when I left Miss Lucy's infant school, I attended the Anglican primary school. And then, of course, I went on to St Joseph's Convent, you know, up to sixth form, where I did my A-levels in sixth form. And my childhood was loving, it was kind. We were surrounded by people. I first lived on High Street, and then we moved to the CDC on Coral Street. I mean, I know Claudius loves to talk about the CDC boys and girls, but that was probably some of the happiest days of my childhood. And I wish the days when we all came together in the CDC, we were all one. All the families kind of came together. If I had no food at home or somebody else's mom cooked, we kind of shared, and we all went and, you know, had lunch over at the Lubons, or we went to somebody else's. Those were the days when I think St Lucia was, I wouldn't say crime free, but the incidents of crime were few and far apart. I mean, I'm going back now, probably, what, 50 years ago. I'm telling my age, but that's okay. And, you know, we all looked after each other. There was love, there was unity, there was, you know, a togetherness, a community spirit, so to speak. And I find in so many ways lacking now in St Lucia. People are materialistic, they're selfish, everybody's, you know, just about themselves, and not looking, you know, out for the rest of the people in their community.
Were you raised by both your parents?
No, I wasn't. My father died when I was about 6 months, so the only parent I knew was my mom. And she raised three of us, and I want to say gave us all three, you know, wonderful education. My two brothers, myself, my first brother is deceased. They went to St Mary's College, and I went to St Joseph's Convent. And like I said, she worked hard. Some people always think that, you know, they see you and figure, well, you've had it made, you're rich, you have a lot of money, you're born in golden school in your mouth, so to speak, you had it all. But like most families, even today and back then, we lived in a one-room house. You know, my three brothers and myself. But there was always love. I remember going to church every single Sunday, and there was a group of us that got together, and it was for us a treat because we went to church, and then we had to go through the boulevard, and we had to walk around the square and you know, show off our new dresses. And I always had a new dress. My mom sewed, and one of the things she believed in, and maybe it stuck with me, that no matter how poor you are, cleanliness, your image, neatness, there's no reason to go out there for a hole in your pants. And I always had a new dress going to church on a Sunday.
Think that's where you got your fashionista image from?
I really believe so. You know, and I mean, she'd get little ends of cloth and put them together, and I always had something good. But like I said, she worked hard back then. She had 2 jobs. She was a telephone operator at Victoria Hospital, but then a friend of us had a grocery store, so she always went to help her after work to gain some extra money. But I mean, the reality is that with 3 kids at secondary school, single parent, it's difficult for her to meet our school fees, and I think, you know, hence the reason for the second job. My school fees at the time at St Joseph's Convent was $16 a term, and that was actually very difficult for her to pay.
In those days,
you know, it was still a lot of money back then. But I remember I was very outgoing. I loved people. I had a lot of friends. You know, I was always not at home, out on a weekend, so to speak. I was very close to the Valmore family back then, and a number of other people, so I spent weekends with them. We did a lot of things together. Back in those days, I modeled a lot. I remember there was Gustav's modeling school, and I joined Gustav's modeling school. A number of us, we go to the beaches on a Saturday and rehearse. And I was involved in I love fashion designing. I actually designed a lot of my own clothes, and it was made for me by somebody else. So they were actually fun days. I never for a moment thought that something was wrong, or, you know, I was loved in any form of fashion. And my mom was strict, but I mean, you know, it was tough love. But
did you miss not having a father around?
No, because I just never had one. So I mean, I saw all the kids with their fathers, and you know, I kind of looked at them and said, wow, how lucky they are. But I just didn't have one, and for me, I never dwelled on it or felt I was shortchanged in any form of fashion. My mom did everything she could for us, like I said, and you know, I had a very, very happy childhood.
But when you hear situations like worldwide now, they're sometimes blaming men. They're saying the absence of men in the family is causing a child, especially, you know, males, to be disruptive, to not be good role models, and so on and so forth. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, okay, in my case, my father was deceased, and that's why I didn't have a father. But I'm saying in cases where I think the men are alive and just not accepting the responsibility, I think it is a crying shame. I think a lot of problems we're seeing today with the young men is a result of not having that role model, that father figure, you know, to guide them, to go out there and go to sporting activities with them, and do things with them, help them with their education, and be there for them. So it's a different thing, I think, when the father is actually alive and just not accepting his responsibility, to somebody not having a father at all. I mean, having said that, I had uncles and people I looked up to that almost kind of adopted me and guided me. My cousin Desmond was one of them. You know, I always said he thought he was my father, the kind of person that kind of stepped in at a certain age and guided me a little bit. So there were always people around, I think, that kind of looked after me. But I really do believe it's a crying shame, and like I said, the men need to step up to the plate and begin to accept the responsibility. If you make those children, I think you have a responsibility not just to give them money and feed them financially, to spend that quality time with them and build their characters and look after them. And I think this is what's happening today. Half of the cases we see of delinquent kids, in most cases, are absent fathers. They're not around. And the kids are crying out for attention and crying out for love.
And there's so much that we can say with that. But I actually want to share with our viewers some of your history, and it would be really nice to see them in picture form. So let's see if we can get you some nice pictures for our viewers to see, and perhaps you can. Oh, look at that!
Well, that was me as a little girl, obviously. I'm with my first brother, who's now deceased. And like I said, we just, you know, 3 very loving siblings. And that's a picture of us. I guess I was, what, 3 at that point in time in that photograph.
Oh.
Obviously that's my husband Johnny. That is, I don't know, that was taken somewhere that we went to. We went out to a function or event or something. Yeah, at that point in time.
Nice pictures there. Oh, happy birthday. Okay, it was a birthday.
It's a birthday celebration, yes. And we did a banner, you know, in that St Lucia style. Yeah. These are friends of mine, and going back to St Lucia Jazz Festival, when Jazz Festival started, these were 3 of my closest friends from Washington, D.C., Virginia, who came here for St Lucia Jazz for like 16 years, running non-stop.
Wow.
They haven't been for the last couple of years, and I'm hoping this year they're trying to do a reunion to come back. That was, I used to be chairman of the Small Hotels Committee for CHA, and we had the Small Hotels Conference, and I think at that point in time I was doing an interview with, in the Bahamas. It was held in the Bahamas, and I was doing an interview for one of the famous radio stations. Very much like a Rick Wade, very controversial, and I did a program with him, and then I think that was at the Small Hotels Retreat. The World Travel Market, we went to World Travel Market many times, as you know, and Marcel, who acted in the French Prince of Bel-Air. That's right, the French Prince of Bel-Air, and my dear friend Desmond Ski, God bless his soul, and you know, Hilary Modest, who was the director of tourism. Actually, Marcel had a dinner party for us at his house in London, and I was doing WTM, so we all went over and had some dinner with him and shared some, you know, stories about St Lucia and his life, and you know what he'd been doing. So that picture is pretty cold that night, from what I can remember. I'm still wearing my coat. That was me and my dear friend Desmond. Like I said, God bless his soul. Yeah, he was an incredible human being, incredible person, you know, really very intelligent. It was always a pleasure working with him. Obviously, you know, as you know, we do a lot of staff awards for the properties, Bay Gardens Hotel, the Inn, and we want to say thank you to the staff and give back to them. I think it means a lot to them to be recognized, and I think that was one of our staff awards. We were actually, again, you know, just paying tribute to the team members and giving them the awards. So that was another actual staff awards as well back then. That used to be the executive vice president. As president of CHA, I actually traveled to about 30 destinations. And my goal was actually to do all 36. I was the first president that ever traveled to so many Caribbean destinations, and this was in St. Kitts actually, where he was the president, the vice president of the St. Kitts Hotel Association. So in every destination I either met with the Premier, the Prime Minister, the Chamber of Commerce, the Hotel Association. I did a number of television, radio interviews, and always was the keynote speaker whenever they had their annual awards as well. And just various pictures of us. Again, this was during St. Lucia Jazz Festival, and I have to tell you, they really had an incredible time in St. Lucia. I will always remember St. Lucia for sure. Again, you know, so some of my friends, I'm going out. I mean, I work hard, but I think I also deserve to be able to have some fun as well. So we always went out and had fun and did dinner
you
parties.
Work hard and you play hard, don't you?
Exactly. Exactly. That was another radio interview in Nassau as well. This is, I call him twin, Rick Wayne's twin, because he's identical to him. Very controversial in the Bahamas.
I don't think we would like to hear you say that.
Very controversial in the Bahamas, always stirring up the pot kind of thing. And I think he challenged me, and I think I challenged him as well. So that's my first communion, again, with my brother as well.
When you see those pictures, what goes through your mind? I mean, can you remember
that God. Yes, I think I can remember. Yeah, I think at that point in time I can remember.
But you know, I think that's those kind of fashion, that's the, you know, things come back on themselves.
Yes,
you know, the 60s come back and so on, and that. Oh wow, lovely. Well, Berthia, I know that I want to come back and we're going to talk about more about your career choices. But just quickly, the giveaway questions, viewers, tonight. Name 4 Dolor Factor live sponsors. Name 4 Dolor Factor live sponsors. The winner will receive a DFL bag. How many Carib Cable offices are there, and where are they located? How many Carib Cable offices are there, and where are they located? And name the current promotion at Carib Cable. The winner will receive 1 month's free cable service from Carib Cable and a bag filled with goodies. Now, if the winner is already a customer, their account will be credited for 1 month. The winner for this giveaway will be chosen next Thursday. Okay, so you're watching Dolor Factor Live only on DBS. Of course, when we come back, I'm going to ask Senator Parle some more questions. And don't forget, you can ask us some questions too, so stay with us.